Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders. NKU and Bellarmine men's basketball teams hooking up in this second game of the doubleheader. Of course, the women earn a 3-point victory in the opener. And Scott, interesting story in this one, the standpoint, Bellarmine's head coach Charlie Just, for many years had coached the women very successfully at Bellarmine, has moved on to the men's program.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of the changeover from the women's program to the men's program, and certainly he had built a dynasty with the women's teams at Bellarmine, competitive every year, so you know he can coach. And Bellarmine had been in a lag time with Coach Valvano, had really not improved too much. He expects to come in and be able to rebuild this program from the ground up, and a pretty solid team to start off with this season.
NKU enters this game with a 2-1 record following last Saturday night's loss to Central State in the championship game. And one of their big problems is just rebounding. They just don't have a lot of strength inside.
You're going to see a team that's going to play sometimes 3 guards, sometimes 4 guards. Not much in the inside. You will see Adam Norwell come back. So far in this game, that could be a big improvement in the middle and help the rebounding out.
NKU and Bellarmine will be back with the introduction of the starting lineups right after these messages.
At McCluskey Chevrolet, for only $249 a month, you can drive a late model quality used car without good credit, without a cash down payment, and without a monthly payment until $19.99. This 98 Esteem with only 8,000 miles is just $249 a month. And this loaded Lumina is just $249 a month. Remember, no cash down, no payments till $99, and guaranteed credit approval. Call the one number, 761-1111.
Today, we could be part of someone's wedding. Tomorrow, we could help Lisa Powell win a new account. This evening, we might bring sweethearts together. Because every day, every one of us is personally involved in connecting every one of you to your reason for flying. And we all have the same reason for doing it well. You. Delta Airlines, on top of the world.
Okay, time to choose a long-distance company.
We've got fiber optics.
We can save you money.
We're the best. We think we're the best.
Long-distance service wouldn't be so confusing if someone would just talk with you instead of at you. Someone who's big enough to give you what you want and small enough to care. Someone like Cincinnati Bell Long Distance. Break free of the confusion. Call us today. It's really that simple.
Hello, Cincinnati Bell Long Distance.
Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders. We're about 25 seconds away from the introduction of the starting lineups. NKU and Bellarmine, as I mentioned before, the Norse enter this game with a 2-1 overall record. Bellarmine 1-1. The Norse lead the overall series between these two rivals, 27-24. And Bellarmine, the lone team, which has appeared on NKU's schedule every season since the first year, and that was, of course, the 1971-72 campaign. We're about set to go, and now here's Jay Winstall with the introduction of this afternoon's starting lineups.
Public Address Announcer Jay Winstall. Welcome to Regents Hall for today's Great Lakes Valley Conference men's basketball game, featuring the Knights from Bellarmine College and your Northern Kentucky University Norse. Hello. Hello. Now introducing the starters for today's game. First for Bellarmine. At guard, a 6-foot freshman out of Edgewood, Kentucky, number 11, Ryan Mullins. For NKU, at guard, a 6'1" freshman out of Cincinnati, Ohio, number 21, Brian Schaefer. For Bellarmine, at guard, a 6'3" sophomore out of North Vernon, Indiana, number 12, Ron Brooks. For NKU, at guard, a 6'3" freshman out of Cincinnati, Ohio, number 33, Craig Sanders. For Bellarmine, at forward, a 6'6" senior out of Frankfort, Indiana, number 25, Eric Wall. For NKU at guard, a 6'3" sophomore out of Cincinnati, Ohio, number 12, Brian Lahan. For Bellarmine at forward, a 6'8" senior out of Kfar Tabor, Israel, number 32, Amit Shaham. For NKU at forward, a 6'7" freshman out of Maysville, Kentucky, number 40, Drew Beckett. For Bellarmine at center, a 6'8" junior out of Evansville, Indiana, number 22, Andy Swan. And for NKU at center, a 6'11" senior out of Florence, Kentucky, number 50, Mike Veith. The head coach for Bellarmine is Charlie Just. The assistant coaches for NKU are Pat Ryan, Dave Biesold, Ryan Schrand, and Andy Listerman. And the head coach for the Norse in his 11th season is Ken Shields. Hi.
Welcome back to Regents Hall. We have the singing of our national anthem as we are about ready to get underway. Northern Kentucky University and Bellarmine, the conference opener for both of these teams. And again, NKU, the biggest problem has been this season is just a lack of rebounding.
Trouble finding somebody in the middle for NKU, and Adam Norwell, who's had a sprained ankle, should expect to play some in this game. And as you notice, Beckett this season or for this game is going to start, and I think that's to offset some of the problems they have had underneath. But this has been a Northern Kentucky people that has impressed quite a few people. You see Sanders there taking the number of another great outside shooter, number 33, that of Cluxton. You saw, look at Charlie Just, the coach of Bellarmine, making the difficult maneuver from the women's side. It's the same game though, Don.
Mike Veith and Andy Swan will jump in here as we are set to go. Tap up, Swan gets the tip, and it goes to Lahan. So NKU with the first possession of this game. Brian Schaefer. Here's Mike Veith over the Norse, setting things up. Lahan trying a three to start the game. Got it, Brian Lahan. As the Norse go out on top 3-0.
Lahan's now 8 of 16 on the year, 50% from beyond the arc. He'll be right around that 50% from three-point land all season. A solid shooter, one of the best shooters Kenny Shields has coached. And that's saying a lot.
Here's a shot, no good, and Mullins with it. Ryan Mullins, a freshman out of Scott High School in Taylorville. And here's a shot, no good by Shaheem.
I believe Veith is going to get whistled for the foul that time. Mike Veith has really had a problem adjusting to his starting role for Northern Kentucky this year. They have tried to beef the young man up for many years. As you can see, he's still relatively thin. He's going to have trouble with some of the banging that goes on in the GLVC. He does stand near 7 feet tall, but only averaging just under 2 points and under 2 rebounds a game, which has hurt the Norse.
And Shaheem with another shot, no good. Fight for the rebound, tipped up, no good. Sanders with the rebound for NKU.
So some of the problems on the boards, but the Norse do come away with the ball and a 3-point lead.
Schaefer for the Norse. Out to Lahan. Sanders with the pass inside, no good on the layup try. Beckett. And Bellarmine coming back the other way. Lahan getting a hand on it. And the Knights maintain control here. Here's a pass inside, out of bounds, and it'll be Northern's basketball. The Norse on top 3-0, 18:34 left in the first half. Thanks for tuning in to Northern Kentucky University basketball on Intermedia 6. The women a 3-point winner in today's opener, coming back from an 11-point halftime deficit. And the men on top 3-0 in the early going here. Lahan, a second three, got it Brian Lahan, and 2 3-pointers in this game. It's 6-0 Norse.
A lot of nylon for those 2 shots for Brian Lahan. He's really on the mark starting off this game. The Norse lead by 6.
Bellarmine working it around as the Knights have fallen behind 6-0 early. And here's Mullins with a 3, no good, tapped up. Swan with the rebound.
Norse doing a good job of keeping the ball out of the inside. And this is a team who is a little bit bigger than Northern Kentucky, can muscle a little bit better, but can't really find anything in the middle yet.
And here's Shaheem with a shot, no good. Lahan with the rebound. The Norse running the other way. And a charge there.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Sanders trying to take the ball all the way. Good position that time for Bellarmine, and the Norse turned the ball over. We're 17:41 left in the first half.
We talked about Michelle Tukfarber, and really as a freshman, her contribution to the women's team, and really Craig Sanders doing the same for this men's basketball club.
Fantastic game the other night in which he broke the 30-point mark, and not a bad way to start off your career for Northern Kentucky. Struggled a little bit in the opening game. But this is a Northern Kentucky team that has a lot of outside talent and a traveling violation, so Bellarmine turns the ball over. Not to mention the talent they get coming in next year.
20-second timeout for Bellarmine. So with 17:21 left in the first half, the Norse with 2 Brian Lahan trays on top in this one, 6-0.
Take a look at Charlie Just talking to his Bellarmine Knights right there. You know, we've talked about before, NKU had another guard that sat out this season. Kevin Listerman will be back with the team next year, and NKU's got a lot riding on next season, possibly being another big year for them, but certainly started off the season relatively well this year. A tough loss to Central State in their own tournament, but opening wins against Kentucky State, Thomas More College.
Here's Sanders to Veith. Veith working inside with a shot, no good.
Well, he really missed Drew Beckett wide open on the other side of the court underneath the basket.
Here's Mullins.
It leads to a turnover.
Bellarmine working it around. 6-0. We've played over 3 minutes, and there getting Bellarmine's first points is Shaham. Amit Shaham with the bucket. He's from Israel, and it's 6-2 NKU. And here's a 3, tried no good, and Swan with the rebound for Bellarmine.
Sanders with the miss. A little bit more of a streak shooter than someone like a Lahan. Lahan's going to be around 50% all year long. Sanders will have better days than others, and we're going to have another 20-second timeout, this time taken by Bellarmine College, as Ryan Mullins having a little trouble with his right shoe, it looks like, but 20-second timeout taken, 16:26 to play in the first half.
And the Norse on top in this one, 6-2, so Bellarmine has to expend 2 20-second timeouts here in the early going. There you get a look at Norse head coach Ken Shields, and also Ryan Schran there, assistant coach, who was quite a good player when he was here at Northern Kentucky University.
Not bad, and I kid you not, Ryan Schran had the best leaping ability of anybody Northern Kentucky's seen in quite a while. I think he stretches to make 5'9", maybe 5'10", but could put on a dunking display. I have seen it.
Here is Mullins with it now for the Norse to Brooks.
He is a proud father this past year.
There's a pass inside. And coming back the other way, Schaefer to Sanders. Out to Schaefer, fires up a 3, no good, off the mark. Beckett getting the rebound for the Norse to Veith. Mike Veith puts up a jumper, got it. Mike Veith with the basket.
Showing a good soft touch, Veith.
8-2 Northern.
Just averaging under 2 points a game.
Mullins, ball goes off of Lahan out of bounds, and it'll be Bellarmine's basketball. Knights getting off to a cold start in this one.
You got to think that's going to turn around somewhat. The Norse won't live by the three-pointer the entire game, but you're likely to see an effort in that direction. A small team like they have, they love to shoot it from the outside.
And there's a travel by Wall. Eric Wall called for the walk, and it'll be NKU's basketball.
You will see at any given time, as we talked about, Don, this is a team in NKU that's not afraid to put 4 guards out on the court this season. They know they're limited in their front court. Now here's a steal.
Here's a steal by Wall. Eric Wall going up and missing the layup, but he gets the rebound. Now takes it back outside, and there's a shot off the mark. 3, no. Rebound, no, and a foul. So Bellarmine with 3 opportunities to score there. And finally, Wall is fouled, so he'll get 2 free throws.
Foul is going to go against Beckett. Now Charles Nixon will make his first appearance. Nixon has played well this season, but prefers coming off the bench.
Connolly also waiting to come into the game. Craig Connolly for NKU. First shot up, good. And also for Bellarmine, we have number 10, Herb Gaines, and number 33, Ray Hunt, entering the lineup. Ron Brooks and Shaham coming out of the game for the Knights. Wall hits the free throws. It's 8-4. Norse by 4.
Not a lot of scoring so far in the game. Craig Conley, his second year with Northern Kentucky, third if you count his redshirt season, could be a real spark plug for this team coming off the bench as well. Averages 14 points per game.
Beckett
behind
Schaefer.
Sanders for the team lead.
Beckett and Schaefer are now on the bench for NKU. And there's a bad pass going to the other end, and it'll be Bellarmine's basketball.
Little miscommunication that time results in the turnover. We'll have a timeout on the floor.
Timeout, 14 minutes, 54 seconds to go in the first half. Norse on top, 8-4. We'll be back with more NKU basketball in Intermediate 6 after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders. 14:54 left. And NKU on top in this one, 8-4, in what has been a relatively low-scoring start to this GLBC basketball game.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing Great Lakes Valley Conference games being low-scoring, and certainly not with the Norse, but a lot of experiments are going to be trying with this team early on in this season to try to find good combinations.
Mullins firing up a 3, got it. Ryan Mullins with the tray, and it is 8-7.
The local product.
Ryan has some fans here today to watch him from Scott High School. Nixon back out.
Adam Norwell into the game.
Norwell in for the first time.
That's the first time all season, so we have a foul down underneath. It's going to go against Ryan Mullins. That'll be his first foul.
8-7, Norse lead at 1 as Connolly will inbound. He does to Sanders. Now back out to Connolly. Connolly goes into the lane. No good, but Connolly with the ball, he scores. Great Connolly.
Followed his own shot. A lot of contact the first time, no whistle, but that's a typical of a hard-nosed player. He's not going to wait for the whistle. Doesn't come. He's still playing until he hears it. Follows his shot, makes a nice lay-in, and the Norse lead 10-7 and get the ball back.
Gaines misses. Norse headed back as Connolly gives it to Norwell, and a foul called.
Good feed into Norwell. The foul is going to go against number 33. That is Ray Hunt, the senior, into the ball game. His first foul.
Get a look at the NKU cheerleaders. The nationally recognized NKU cheerleaders.
3 years in a row now. Nixon
wide
open.
All alone, no good. But there with the rebound, Norwell misses. And a foul called on Bellarmine.
And I believe it's going to be Hunt again, and indeed it is. So 2 quick fouls for Hunt. And I tell you, Adam Norwell's going to give this team some missing rebounding that they could have used against Central State. A severely sprained right ankle has kept Norwell sidelined so far in the ball game, and now mass substitutions coming into the game as Mahan and Sanders sit down. Mitch Perdrix checks into the ball game for the first time for Northern Kentucky.
As does Nathan Sider, the freshman out of Bishop Rosser High School in Alexandria.
Another pretty decent shooter.
And here's Nathan with the basketball. Sider.
Nixon really plays a small forward, but has the outside shooting presence, so you're running it at any time. You're going to have at least 3 guards on the court for Northern Kentucky, and almost any which way you cut it.
Nixon with the pass inside to Norwell. And Norwell called for the travel.
Norwell trying the drop step, and a good job on defense that time by Bellarmine College. That was number 31, Carl Eagleman, to kind of get out of the way and allow Norwell to trip a little bit over his own feet, actually. And that caused the walking violation.
So the Knights a chance to tie it here on this 3 by Mullins, no good, and a foul called.
This looks like it's going to go against Bellarmine.
Bellarmine, yes. And that foul is on number 10, and that's Herb Gaines.
Push off is what they're calling on the rebound that time. 13-10 to play in the first half. A low-scoring contest so far. 10-7, NKU with the lead in the ball.
Greg Connolly bringing the ball court for the Norse. Connolly into the lane. Tries to dish it off to Norwell. Ball knocked away, and Gaines comes up with it for Bellarmine.
It's been a familiar problem for Connolly. He gets out of control.
Nice dish off, and Nixon with the block.
Blocking it out of bounds. Charles Nixon ignites the crowd. Craig Connolly, as we said before, a very quick ball player, but gets caught in the middle too many times where his height disadvantage tends to show up, and they're hoping to coach a little of that out of him. As a two-pointer on the way. Gaines connects.
Herb Gaines with the bucket, and it's 10-9. Norse lead at 1.
Norse have been stymied at 10 points for a while now.
Here's Connolly. Now Sider to Nixon. Connolly looking to go inside to Norwell. He does. Norwell is called for traveling again.
Norwell's getting some contact underneath, and I tell you, it's a sign the officials are going to let him play a little bit inside, but footwork, things like that are all things he's going to have to really work on, and I'm sure it has changed a little bit since having the injury. That's the second traveling violation on the low post against Norwell and the Norse.
10-9. Bellarmine can take the lead for the first time in the game with a bucket here. As the Knights working the ball, Gaines with it. Bellarmine working, NKU playing some good defense. Gaines driving the baseline and back outside. Good ball work. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Shami with the shot, no good. Nixon with the board.
NKU good defense that time as Bellarmine moved the ball well, but NKU just followed the ball, and now three-pointer on the way for Nixon is good.
Charles Nixon with the trifecta, and it's 13-9 Norse.
Third 3 of the game for Northern Kentucky. Nixon's first points. It's a 4-point lead for the Norse.
Gaines for Bellarmine. Puts up a jumper. Got it. Herb Gaines with the basket.
Product out of Louisville Eastern High School. He's put out some pretty good teams in past years.
13-11. Perdrix. Connolly dishes off to Nixon, who tries another 3. No good. Fight for the rebound. Sider gets it. Back out to Connolly. Connolly to Nixon. Nixon with the dish off, and Nixon called for the walk.
Oh, I tell you, it looked like Nixon may have been tripped that time. Stumbled as he went along, but it looked like over the foot of a Bellarmine player, and Kenny Shields has a hard time with that call.
13-11, and Bellarmine now with a chance to tie or go ahead with a bucket here. And here's Connolly coming up with a pick. Craig Connolly, and Craig is fouled as he goes up to about the 4th or 5th row of the end zone bleachers.
Thought he would take a seat and join the crowd for a minute. 10:49 to play in the first half, just a 2-point lead for the Norse. Connolly, great steal, got the real quick hands on defense. Quickness is not a problem for the team.
Perdrix and Sider come out, and 10:49 left.
Sanders back into the ball game with Lahan.
There's Connolly with a shot, and that one's off, but Norwell fighting for the rebound, gets it in, scores as he was fouled. Adam Norwell.
What a difference does he make in this ball game? The basket's going to count.
The foul's going to go against number 22, Andy Swan, a man who in his own right can get the rebounds, averages 11.5 a game. That's his first foul. Call it the 6th-team foul against Bellarmine. Norwell goes to the line for his first attempts of the season.
And Norwell missing the free throw. And Swan coming up with the rebound for Bellarmine. Now here's Ryan Mullins to Swan. Over to Jared McCurry, who is into the game for the first time. And Connolly with another steal. Craig Connolly leading the break. He lays it in.
Quick hands for Craig
Connolly almost with another steal on the inbound pass.
Got to be careful around him. He's got such quick hands and explodes to the basket.
Bellarmine working there. NKU on top, 17-11. And there's a shot, no good. By Swan, and he was fouled. Foul on Charles Nixon.
You know, Charles Nixon has been a bit of an enigma for this Northern Kentucky team last season. Not sure exactly where he would fit into this ball club. And he has really found a niche this year. He's provided quality minutes off the bench. He'll get his 9 points a game and rebound well. Adds another dimension to the team, as you see. Swan's free throw attempt is good, his first point of the game.
Beckett and Veith enter the game for NKU with Nixon and Norwell going out for a breather. 10 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the first half as Swan attempting his second free throw. 17-12, Norse on top. Swan, nothing there. This will be NKU's basketball.
Not a pretty looking free throw attempt that time by Swan.
Craig Connolly to inbound.
Meet Shaham applying a little token pressure, then just backs off.
Connolly bringing the ball across the 10-second line. On to Sanders. Sanders still with the basketball, puts up a shot, whistle blows, foul before the shot, and
it's going to go against Northern Kentucky. The call is an illegal pick against Drew Beckett.
And we've got a timeout, so with 9:42 left in the first half, NKU on top of Bellarmine 17-12. We'll be back with more NKU basketball on Intermediate 6 after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. They'll get a look at NKU men's head basketball coach Ken Shields, and to his right, assistant coach Dave Beazle. Looking on as the Norse on top in this one, 17-12. And Bellarmine with the possession. There's a pass inside, no good. Veith called for the foul.
Veith a little out of position that time as the entry pass came in. Couldn't quite catch up, commits the foul.
There you see Mike Veith. As we've got Schaefer waiting to come back into the game for the Norse. Swan will get 2 free throws here with 9:32 left in the first half. First shot up, no good. And Schaefer replaces Connolly in the Norse lineup.
Connolly gets the breather. Kenny Shields loves to rotate his players in the first half. Not get anybody worn out too early.
Eric Wall will re-enter the game for Bellarmine with the next break. Sanders with the rebound.
Swan doesn't seem to have a good grasp of the free throw line. Not looked real pretty from there.
Schaefer for the Norse. Still with it. Bringing it back outside. Shot clock at 14. Schaefer still with it. Dishes off to Beckett, back out to Schaefer. Sanders firing up a 3, no good off the rim. And Shaham with the rebound for the Knights.
As we said before, not to state the obvious, a low-scoring game. Neither team really getting the offense going as of yet.
Bellarmine working. Mullins. Back to Curry. The Knights working Brooks with the shot. No good. Tapped in by Swan. Andy Swan with the stick back. 17-14.
Boy, did Swan clear out 2 Norse players right there to go up and get that tap. Nice job. Cuts the lead to 3 now.
There's Veith. Over to Schaefer. Lahan to Schaefer. Sanders back to Veith, a 15-footer in the air. Good! Mike Veith with the soft touch.
Veith has the finesse game down, can hit in that 10 to 15 range if you leave him open. And right now, Bellarmine just ignoring Mike Veith, who now has 4 points in the game. And 4 points in this game is a pretty significant chunk.
There's a 3, no good, and Sanders with the rebound. Schaefer for the Norse, a chance to lengthen that 5-point lead here. Lahan with a shot, no good.
Not a good shot that time, but Lahan leaning in towards the basket on the run.
Ryan Mullins to dish off. Bellarmine now working inside though. And there's a travel.
Let me tell you, that almost was a dunk by Shaham as Veith lost sight of him. He snuck around behind Veith, who didn't back up to help out. And now it results in a turnover simply because Shaham couldn't handle the pass.
So the Norse up 5 at 19-14, and with the basketball, Mike Veith. Beckett to Lahan. Now Veith with another shot. Got it! Mike Veith with the hot hand. And as you say, they're ignoring him, and he's putting it in.
You just can't leave him alone. Mike Veith has been around.
For Mike.
He's been around Division II basketball. He's a senior. He's experienced. He
may be
certainly
headed for
works
career
hard.
high if he doesn't have that already.
6 points in the game, and what a way to open up GLVC conference play for the Norse senior center Mike Veith.
Ryan Mullins. Shot clock at 8. Here's one in and out. Beckett with the rebound.
Beckett showing why he was elected to start by the coaching staff of Northern Kentucky. Good position. The Norse are rebounding well with Bellarmine right now.
Schaefer to Sanders. Off balance 3, no good. Veith with the nice save to Beckett. Lahan from inside, no good. Swan with the rebound for Bellarmine.
Norse just can't get over the hump to try to pull away from Bellarmine in the first half. 6 minutes to play. Bellarmine just 14 points to show for their efforts.
So the Knights working a very low-scoring game this afternoon in Regents Hall. Here's the ball tip. And they're calling a foul on Northern Kentucky University.
Yeah, I believe if that's against Veith, that may be his 3rd foul. It's not. It's going to go against Beckett, but guess what? For Beckett, that's his 3rd foul.
So Norwell coming into the game for NKU to replace Beckett.
This might have been more than they wanted to play Norwell in this ball game already. I knew they wanted to get him in some minutes today, but now they're going to need him as here in the first half. Beckett picking up a critical 3rd foul. Mike Veith in a little foul trouble with 2 of his own. But that's the right man to put at the line.
Ray Hunt into the game for Bellarmine, and Carl Eagleman waiting to come in as the ball in and out. Norwell with the rebound.
1 of 5 now is Andy Swan. And on the 4 he's missed, they haven't even been close.
Here's Schaefer. Up to Sanders, firing up a 3. Good! Sanders with the 3-pointer. Craig Sanders, 24-14, NKU's biggest lead of the day at 10.
The Norse have about 4 players at any given time that can really fill it up from the outside, and that could be a scary thing for some teams.
Traveling against Wall.
Yeah, this is a Northern team that at some point this year, they're going to be playing for behind a lot, but I have a feeling they're going to really pull off a big upset somewhere this year. You just have that kind of talent that, you get 2 guys hot from the outside, you're going to give some good team fits out there, and the Norse may be that type of team. I don't see them being a pull-away team from the rest of these high-talent teams in the GLVC, but certainly they're going to sneak up on a few people this year.
Here's Connolly with a shot from the outside. Good, and that's another 3. Craig Connolly. It is 27-14. Northern Kentucky University, a 13-point lead.
Big run here towards the end of the first half, under 5 minutes left to go in the half. And it's been via the 3-point shot.
Here's Hunt working against Veith inside, still working. Hunt with forcing a shot up, no good. Fight for the rebound and a foul called.
Going to go against Norwell. That time the Norse could not get on the boards, but good defense by Mike Veith. And I don't know what Hunt was trying to do.
So we've got Ray Hunt at the foul line for 2 free throws, 4 minutes and 40 seconds left.
Hunt's getting ready to come out of the game here in a minute. I tell you, terrible shot he took. He was in good position to get the putback attempt. Now he goes to the line and rolls one in.
A lot of iron, but it goes through.
His first points of the game.
So Hunt will get another free throw.
Ray Hunt has some room to build with this Bellarmine squad.
6'7" senior out of Wichita, Kansas, missing the second free throw. Connolly with the rebound for NKU. Schaefer to Nixon. Greg Connolly. Connolly out to Sanders. Sanders driving inside with a shot, no good, but Norwell with the rebound. Back out to Connolly. Now Chuck Nixon with a shot from in the lane, good. Charles Nixon with the bucket.
5 points for him, and I tell you, Bellarmine in his zone defense looks like they're chasing Northern Kentucky all over that half of the court. They really can't get set in their zone defense. A lot of ball movement by Northern Kentucky has been very effective.
There's a miss by McCurry, and NKU running back the other way. Connolly to Schaefer, back to Connolly. Lights up a three, and he gets another one. Greg Connolly, Bellarmine wants a timeout. 3:45 left. It is NKU 32, Bellarmine 15. We'll be back with more basketball on Intermedia 6 after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. There you get a look at the NKU coaching staff. Head coach Ken Shields to his right. Of course, Ryan Schran and Dave Beazold, and to Kenny's left, Pat Ryan, longtime assistant here at NKU, and they kind of having some fun right now as the Norse on top in this one, 32-15 with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first half. Charlie Just at this point probably wondering why he left the women's program, but
he knew it was going to be a building process on the men's side, and Bellarmine really has not had a solid men's program for a few years now. Recruiting has really limited them lately for whatever reason. What used to be one of the tougher teams in the GLVC, and an already loaded conference.
Here's a bucket underneath by Ray Hunt. So Hunt with the layup, 32-17.
And the question right now for Bellarmine, will they break 20 before halftime?
Sanders. Nixon now with it.
NKU a little more deliberate right now in their offense. Conley against 3 people.
Dishes it back to Nixon. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Norwell with a reverse layup.
Oh, goodness.
Adam Norwell.
Norwell had no chance, it seemed like, and sneaks in for that reverse layup over Swan.
Here's Wall with the shot. Good. Eric Wall. And we have a 20-second timeout by NKU with 2:28 left in the first half. 34-19. Norse on top of the Bellarmine Knights.
NKU a commanding performance so far, especially from outside. You wonder if they can keep this pace up. Norse has had a lot of success against Bellarmine over the past few seasons, both in Louisville and at Regents Hall. But boy, your big test is going to come up for this squad on Monday night, regardless of what happens here, when you welcome in the #1 team in the nation in Kentucky Wesleyan.
Of course, 8 seniors on that ball club, led inside by Antonio Garcia. All everything in Division II basketball. Here's Nixon, now ball knocked away, Lahan with it.
Lahan does a nice job of saving it twice there.
Nixon with the jumper off the mark.
He gets up so high for that jump shot.
And we have a foul on Connolly.
It's bonus now, so he will go to the line. Conley commits to foul his first.
Andy Swan re-entering the game for the Knights. And he replaces Carl Eagleman. 2 minutes, 2 seconds to go in the first half. A first half which has been pretty much all NKU. After a slow start, the Norse kind of got things rolling here as they are on top by 15 points.
Chance to break that elusive 20 mark before halftime. As we've said, a low-scoring game, really, for both teams.
McCurry hitting the first free throw.
A lot of fouls in the first half. So far, 15 called.
And that one rolls through. So McCurry hits both free throws. It's 34-21 as the Norse lead, which was at 17 in the first half, now at 13.
4-0 run since the timeout Charlie just took.
Here's Conley, open for the three, off the mark. Fight for the rebound.
Swan, I believe, stepped out of
Yeah,
bounds.
Swan did step on the end line, so NKU with the basketball. 1:43 left in the first half. And Lahan able to pull down the pass.
You know, you really question the zone defense, and they're picking it up a little bit, but it's been part of the problem in this ball game. Norse is too good from the outside.
And another three-pointer by Lahan.
Well, that's what's going to happen. You're going to play a zone defense against a team whose strength is shooting the three. I'm just thinking 2 and 2 don't add up in that situation.
37-21, Norse by 16. And here getting the layup, Eric Wall. So Wall with the bucket, and it's 37-23. NKU lead at 13 as we approach the 1 minute mark in this first half.
Lahan thought about a long three.
Here's Sanders to Nixon.
This team's looking for the three now.
Norwell back outside in the ball. Stolen, intercepted by Ron Brooks. Brooks takes it the other end, and he is hammered by Lahan.
Lahan timed that almost perfectly. Commits the foul with the body, but does a good job of preventing the shot that time. 45 seconds left. The Norse owners of a 14-point lead here in the first half. It's not been a real pretty first half, but for the Norse, certainly a successful one.
So 45 seconds to go. Brooks' first shot up, good. Ron Brooks, 6'3" sophomore out of North Vernon, Indiana.
Bellarmine's tried a lot of combinations out in the first half of this ball game.
Schaefer coming into the game for Northern Kentucky. Second shot, good. So 2 free throws made there, 37-25 as the Norse lead at 12. There's Connolly. Now Lahan. Connolly back out. Norse working some clock here at this point. 15 on the shot clock. Nixon with the pass inside, no good, and Bellarmine with the rebound. As the Knights, Charlie just shouts one shot here at this point as they're going to try to cut it to 10 or 9 with a possible 3 here.
Not a bad place for them to be going into halftime after trailing by as much as 17 here in the first half.
And working inside, no good was McCurry, but a foul called on Northern Kentucky University.
Charles Nixon gets whistled for the foul, his second.
1 second to go here in the first half. So the Knights will be able to, they make these 2 free throws, cut it to 10, which, as you say, Scott, after being down 17 late here in the first half.
I believe they'll take it.
Yeah. First shot up, and that one rolls through.
Curry had only hit 1 of 3 free throws coming into today's game now. 3 of 3 from the line in this game.
Second shot off the rim, no good, as the horn sounds, that is the end of the first half. First half, which sees Northern Kentucky University on top of Bellarmine 37-26 as both teams go to their respective locker rooms. We'll be back with halftime stats right after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders. NKU on top of Bellarmine in this men's basketball game, 37-26. Earlier today, it was the NKU women, a 77-74 win over Bellarmine. Shannon Smith led the Norse with 21 points. Had 4 players in double figures, as we had Michelle Cottrell, the freshman out of Boone County, with 17 points. Julie Stanley had 15, and Michelle Tukfarber 13 for the Norse. Also contributing 5 points was Katie Kelsey, and 2 each from Shannon Roddy, Chris Camrath, and Jessica Jensen. The game-high scorer was Stephanie Hutchcraft for Bellarmine, as she had 32 points, as NKU improves to 4-0 on the season, 1-0 in the GLVC. Bellarmine 1-2 overall, and 0-1 in Great Lakes Valley Conference play. And of course, here at halftime in the men's game, NKU on top by 11, 37-26. Scott, you have the first half scoring.
Going over
numbers.
the scoring in the first half. First for the Bellarmine Knights. They were led in scoring in the first half by several players, contributing just 4 points each. Avit Shaham, and he is averaging 24 on the year, just 4 points in the first half. Herb Gaines added 4 points, as did Eric Wall. Ryan Mullins chipped in 3 points. Ron Brooks had a basket for 2 points. 3 each for Jared McCurry and Andy Swan. We had 3 points for Ray Hunt. Eagleman played in the first half, but failed to score. For the Norse of Northern Kentucky, led by Craig Conley's 10 points and 2 3-pointers in the first half, followed closely by Brian Lahan, 3 of 3 from three-point land with 9 points. Charles Nixon chipped in 5 points. That included a 3-pointer. Sanders with the 3-pointer had 3 points. Adam Norwell in his first game of the season for NKU had 4 points. And Mike Beath, a big effort in the first half with 6 points. Beckett, Schaefer, Sider, Fredericks all playing in the first half, all failing to score. The Norse lead by 11 points.
Again, NKU's next game will be our next televised game, and that'll be Monday night, November 30th, when the Kentucky Wesleyan Panthers come to town. The women's game getting underway at 5:30, and the men following at 7:45. Again, you'll be able to see both of those contests live right here on Intermedia 6, the NKU television network, as the Norse taking on Kentucky Wesleyan. 37-26, NKU on top. We'll be back with more halftime features right after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders. NKU on top of Bellarmine, 37-26. And taking a look at some of the shooting statistics for the first half, the Norse 15 of 30, including 7 of 14 from three-point land. 50% from three-point land, Scott. Not too shabby. And Norse only had 1 free throw in the first half, which they missed. 20 total rebounds for NKU and 10 turnovers. For Bellarmine, 16 rebounds, so NKU actually up 4 in the rebound statistics here at halftime. And Bellarmine has turned the ball over 8 times. Bellarmine shooting a miserable 8 of 24 from the field, 33% in the first half, 1 of 5 from three-point land, and 9 of 15 free throws for the Knights. And interesting fact there, Bellarmine with 15 total free throws, which they made 9. NKU with only 1 free throw in the first half, which they missed. Northern Kentucky on top, 37-26. And really, Scott, what do you think some of the things that Kenny Shields may be talking to his ball club about at halftime?
Tell you what, this was a good job by Northern Kentucky. You can't think you're going to get the good looks at the three-point line. I look for a defensive change for Bellarmine coming into the second half, or it's going to be a long afternoon for the Knights. They're going to have to probably go man-to-man at some point. It's going to put a little more pressure on the inside guys to make things happen for Northern Kentucky.
NKU on top in this one, 37-26. We'll be back with more after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with women's head basketball coach Nancy Winslow. And Nancy, you win your first conference game of the year. A big win against Bellarmine, 77-74. And what can you say? Down 45-34 at halftime, your ball club battles back for the three-point win.
Well, it was a big win for us, Don. Anytime you beat Bellarmine, it's a big win. It's a big rivalry for us. Dave Smith is a new coach, but I've known Dave for a long time. He does a great job, and we knew they'd be ready to play us. And we came out a little flat, to be honest with you, the first half. But you got to give Bellarmine credit too. They got after us, and they haven't had a game since a week ago Sunday, and they had a lot of time to get ready for us. And sometimes you're concerned about the layoff, but they also had a lot of time, and you could tell they were ready to play. And I got to give our team credit. I thought we bounced back the second half, and we held them to 29 points the second half, which is more like us. And we were able to get some things done offensively, and a little bit of foul trouble the whole game.
4 players in double figures, led by Shannon Smith at 21 points, Michelle Cottrell with 17, Julie Stanley 15, and Michelle Tukfarber 13 points.
Well, again, we had very balanced scoring, and I thought Shannon Roddy came off the bench and did a nice job for us, particularly defensively late in the game. I thought Julie Stanley, the second half, really raised her offensive level, and Julie is very, very capable of doing that. Julie is so team-oriented. Sometimes she passes up some shots, but in this game, I think she knew she had to do that. Her role has changed a little bit for us since last year. Last year, she had to guard the Hutchcrafts. She had to go in and guard their big key post player. And this year, Michelle can do that, Chris can do that, and Jackie can do that. And that leaves Julie available to guard a perimeter player, but also to do a little bit more offensively. And she's very capable, and I thought she stepped up big.
Monday night, you take on Kentucky Wesleyan, a team which is definitely improved, and they're going to be a good test for your team.
Don, they have a new coach, but he's not new to the program. His name's Scott Lewis. He was their coach years ago and is a fine job. They have a junior college transfer. Her name is Sanders. She's about 5'10", 5'11", very good. And they have veteran post players inside, veteran perimeter players. It'll be a war just like this one.
Okay, Nancy, well, best of luck. We'll see you Monday night.
Thanks, Don.
37-26, NKU on top. We'll be back with the start of the second half of the men's game right after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders as we are about to start the second half of this men's game. The Norse on top here at halftime, 37-26 over the Knights of Bellarmine. And we've got Eric Wall inbounding as we are underway here in the second half. Mullins with it for the Knights. Schaefer on him. Back out to Brooks. Mullins with the jumper. Got it. Ryan Mullins, the Scott product, getting the bucket. It's 37-28.
Just a two-pointer for Mullins, but a nice way to start off if you're Bellarmine. Need to get back in this game, and it's now a 9-point NKU lead.
Beef to Schaefer. Now to Sanders. Back to Schaefer. Sanders firing up a three. No good.
Can't find the range.
Swan with the rebound.
As I said, Sanders more of a streak shooter than someone like a Lahan who tends to be a little more consistent.
Mullins takes it all the way and scores. Ryan Mullins with the bucket. As Bellarmine scoring the first 4 points of this second half. It's 37-30.
Quicker, might I add, than they scored any of their points in the first half.
That is for certain. Sanders out to Beef. Missing this time. Wall with the rebound. Or Swan with the rebound. And here's Mullins for Bellarmine. Mullins with a jumper. No good. Beef with the rebound. And he loses it, but NKU still with it. Schaefer. Over to Sanders. Sanders driving inside, puts up a shot, scores.
The foul is going to go against Bellarmine. That should count the basket.
So a chance for a three-point play here by Craig Sanders. 39-30, 18-17 left as the Norse score their first bucket of the second half.
Good free throw shooting team is Northern Kentucky this season. Sanders one of them at 85%, but just as soon as I say it, he misses.
Never fails. 39-30, Norse by 9. And here with a 3, Brooks off the mark. Bodies to the floor. And calling, I believe, Veith for the foul.
Boy, Swan took exception to it. Had a few words for Mike Veith getting back up. Swan took the brunt of that collapse a little bit more. Veith's 3rd foul of the game.
Bellarmine, here's a shot from in the lane by Brooks, and he gets it. Ron Brooks with the bucket, and it's 39-32 as the Knights, who were down at one point in this game, set down 17, as they've now clawed back to within 7.
Norse have yet really to get started in the second half. Conley, ill-advised, taking it up against 2 giants in the paint.
Here's Mullins leading the break for Bellarmine, back outside. Brooks to Wall, and Eric Wall with the bucket as the Knights are pulled back to within 5. Kenny Shields wants a 20-second timeout as Bellarmine has cut an 11-point halftime deficit to 5 in just 2.5 minutes here in the second half. NKU 39, Bellarmine's 34 as Kenny Shields talking with his ball club, and Kenny's not a happy man right now, Scott.
No, he's not. Here's a team with a 17-point lead, and they can't seem to get off the mark here in the second half, scoring only 2 points so far in this half. Not sure the lineup is really the lineup that was effective in the first half when the Norse took their run, which led to the 17-point lead and then an 11-point lead at the break. It's 5 points. NKU will have the ball coming back from the break. Now they got to go back to what brought them here. Good ball control, good ball work, get it to the man who's open for the shot. It's just typical basic basketball right now. The Norse forcing a few times down the court. Let's see if they can settle down and get back into their offense.
There's an interesting score from another Great Lakes Valley Conference men's game this afternoon. Indianapolis 39-35 over Kentucky Wesleyan at halftime, Scott.
That just goes to show you on the road in the GLVC, anything can happen.
Here's Lahan to Beckett. Lahan, now Connolly, nice pass inside to Norwell, gets a layup.
A wide open Adam Norwell, who moves so effectively without the ball.
Bellarmine working it. Here's Brooks, shot. And
pass to nobody, but run down by Bellarmine.
Shaham able to grab it. Now here's Brooks going up, no good, and foul call.
Might go against Lahan, who seemed to be the closest player. And indeed it will. And I'll tell you, talk about a player who's had a pretty good season at 24 points a game. Amit Shaham has done nothing. He's been the invisible man in this ball game. They are sorely missing his points.
Walls looking to inbound. He does to Mullins. Over to Wall. Shaham trying to pass it inside, and Beckett comes up with the ball.
3 steals in the game now for Conley.
Sanders still with it for NKU. 41-34, Norse on top by 7. Lahan, and a foul called on Brooks.
A little too much hand checking that time by Brooks. Got a good slap in, and the Norse will retake the ball. 16-26 on the near side.
Conley inbounds to Lahan. Conley now getting the ball back. Sanders to Norwell. Norwell again inside to get, Sanders.
15 on the shot clock now.
Connolly. NKU working hard for the shot. No good, off the mark. And Bellarmine with the rebound, a chance to cut it to 5 or more here on this possession.
Norse didn't get a terrible shot off, but Bellarmine's defense has picked up a notch here in the second half.
Shaham now with it. NKU 41, Bellarmine 34, and there's a bucket by Wall, Eric Wall, and it is 41-36 as the Knights have cut a 17-point NKU lead down to 5.
That's pretty much a brand new ball game, and as you can see, Bellarmine now running man-to-man defense. Not going to mess with that zone, at least not yet. And it's hurt the Norse.
And here's Sanders with the dish to Norwell, who gets the bucket. Adam Norwell.
Adam Norwell is so strong on the inside. That time Swan came in late to try to help out, but Norwell, good body control, gets the lay-in. Norse lead 43-36.
And here's Beckett with the rejection.
We talked about it, Don. Norwell plays as much like a true center as anybody the Norse have. Not even the tallest NKU players will have a timeout on the floor.
Timeout, 14:59 left. It is Northern 43, Bellarmine 36. We'll be back with more NKU basketball on Intermedia 6 after these messages. 59 remaining in this one, and the Norse on top of Bellarmine 43-36, and what a game which is really tightened up, Scott.
Certainly has, and it's happened with the man-to-man defensive pressure. And just missed on a three-pointer right there, did Bellarmine.
Shaham with the rebound and hitting the turnaround. Shaham. And it's 43-38.
Drawing ever tighter still.
Connolly for Northern. Nixon, who has re-entered the Norse lineup. Norwell. Connolly. 15 on the shot clock. Connolly working with it. Now spinning in the lane with a shot. No good. And Shaham with the rebound for the Knights, who can cut it to 3 or more on this possession. And here's Wall with the 3. No good. Ball off of Bellarmine, out of bounds. To be NKU's basketball.
Really, that's been a big difference too. Bellarmine not able to hit from the perimeter at all. NKU's pretty much giving them that shot, and they're just not able to connect on it. Approaching now 14 minutes to go in the game, but so far NKU's been really stifled on offense with this man-to-man defense. Not quick enough to get around anybody, and therefore they're not getting the double teams which produce wide open situations.
There's Norwell to Nixon. Nixon firing up a 3. Good. Charles Nixon with a three-pointer.
Those are called game-breaking type of shots. That gives the Norse back to an 8-point lead, and Nixon a crucial time to hit it right when they needed a basket.
And there's a shot, a lot of iron, no good. Norwell fighting Shaham for the rebound. It's a jump ball. And the possession arrow favors the Norse.
It really goes as a turnover for Bellarmine, and 13:31 left. The Norse can get it back to double digits here.
Nathan Sider entering the game for Northern, replacing Brian Lahan. Sanders also coming out. Herdrick's back into the lineup for the Norse.
In each game for the Norse, and this is typical of a young team, it's been who's going to step up and get the points. And today they've spread it around a little more than usual. Lahan and Conley in the first half. Nixon in both halves has been effective. And so far the spreading out has meant a little bit of a different game for the Norse.
Conley missing the layup.
Not a bad shot for Conley. It's one he usually makes.
Gaines now passes off the Wall. Wall with the short jumper off the front of the rim. No good. Ball tipped. Still tipped. And the Knights coming up with it as Swan. Mullins thought about shooting the 3. NKU lead at 8. Here's a pass inside. Ball tipped, and the Norse coming up with it.
Bad pass by Swan, trying to force it in the middle.
Herdrick's coming up with it. Now Conley with it for the Norse as they try to get the lead back to 10. Sider with the pass to Norwell inside. Now Nixon to Norwell. Norwell working inside and getting the bucket. Now I'll tell you what, Adam Norwell is doing a good job inside, and boy does NKU need that. 48-38.
That's a drop step spin. He just pulls that back foot back and does a quick turn on a dime. And he has the ball with the right side to the outside of the basket and puts it in.
Here's Mullins with a shot, no good. He gets the rebound, brings it back out and tries a 3 off the mark. Wall with the rebound, and he is fouled.
Norwell gets whistled for the foul, and Wall brought it down to his waist, something you should never do in the middle, and Norwell almost got away with a clean steal that time, but going to the line will be Wall. His team trails by 10, 1 tick under 12 minutes remain.
Eric Wall, the senior out of Frankfort, Indiana, to shoot a pair of free throws here. First shot, no good. Entering the game for Bellarmine, Jared McCurry and Mike Veith back in the lineup for Northern. McCurry replaces Ryan Mullins. Second shot. That one rolls through. So Wall 1 of 2, and it's 48-39 as the Norse have a 9-point advantage.
9 points in the game for Wall. Full court pressure now by Bellarmine, and it works. They almost got the steal.
Come up with it, but now Sider battling, and it's going to be a jump ball, and the possession arrow favors Bellarmine. So some good full court defense by the Knights pays off.
Norse unable to get it across. Craig Conley trying to dribble in between two people, and folks, that is a no-no. Young players, take heed. That's a mistake anytime you try to go in between two defenders. You know, some players are good enough to get away with that, but we call those players professionals.
48-39. Gaines back out. Now Gaines still with it for Bellarmine, firing up a 3. Got it. Herb Gaines with the three-pointer. It's 48-42.
7 points in the game for Gaines, who's been relatively quiet in this ball game. Averages 9 points per game, but hits a crucial three-pointer that cuts the lead to 6.
Connolly for the Norse. Over to Perdrix. Perdrix driving inside. Back out to Mike Veith, who almost lost it out of bounds. And he gets the ball back out to Connolly. Connolly inside, and foul called.
I believe this is going to go against Conley. Oh,
charge against Craig Connolly. I don't know about that one.
You know, there's an old rule with referees. If you're small and you go into the lane, they say we're going to let you take your licks. You shouldn't be in the lane of the Giants anyway, and most referees don't call that. Well, if that's true, then the converse of that should be true. As you see Kenny Shields very upset with the cause. Indeed, there wasn't seemingly enough contact there to merit it, but
Schaefer replaces Conley in the Norse lineup as Bellarmine can cut it to 4, possibly 3 here. And Sider knocking the ball away. Norwell coming up with it.
Big bucket needed by the Norse this trip down. Get them back on track offensively.
There's a pass inside the Norwell to Mike Veith. Veith missing the layup.
You know, it looked like Veith wanted to go up and dunk at that time, and he found he was too far away and ended up being in no man's land up in there with the ball. And, you know, he's feeling pretty sick about that right now.
Yeah, could have been an easy 2 for Mike.
.48-42, so still Bellarmine can trim this lead to 4, maybe even 3 points.
Here's Gaines, and coming on top of Gaines was Schaefer, and
I think he went for the foul. I think he went for the head fake.
Yeah.
That tends to happen to players like Gaines from time to time. And boy, is that so dangerous when you fake a player off his legs and then cut up under him. I've seen a lot of players get hurt like that.
First foul on Schaefer, 15th foul on the Norse. Here's Wall on a foul called against NKU. I believe Mitch Perdrix called for the foul.
That kind of foul happens when you are unable to go over to the baseline to cut off the play, forming that way, and that's what happened. Perdrix late getting to the baseline, and now after considerable rest, Sanders and Lahan check back into the game, and they probably were on the bench a little longer than you would think was necessary, but Kenny Shields making sure they are rested. Lahan's been one of the more consistent players for the Norse this season, as he certainly was last year. Veith remains in the game. Here's an alley-oop for Gaines.
Brooks to Gaines for the slam, and that fires the Bellarmine faithful up in the bench, and it's 48-44. Knights back to within 4. That's the closest they've been in a long time.
What a way to do it, with an exclamation point. The big dunk by Gaines off the alley-oop.
Here's Sanders with the shot. Good, and he is fouled. So, boy, did NKU need that as Sanders with the bucket and a chance for the three-point play.
That shows a lot of character for a team to be able to answer a big play like that with a big one of their own. Sanders took it straight to the baseline, saw an opening, gets the basket, will go to the line to make it true.
Exactly 10 minutes left on the scoreboard clock here in the second half as Sanders completes a three-point play with the bucket. Free throw, 51-44, Norse by 7. Gains another three, try, no good. Swan with the rebound. Gaines inside, and there's Hunt.
Offensive foul on Hunt. Norwell, great position. Hunt backs into him. They called it back on the other end of the court against Conley, and this time returned the favor, and we'll have a timeout on the floor.
9 minutes, 47 seconds to go in this one. NKU on top 51-44. We're back with more NKU basketball in Intermediate 6 after these messages. We're back at Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders. NKU on top by 7 and with the basketball. As we had Scott's favorite timeout activity, the three-point Coney shootout.
They haven't asked me to do that yet, and I'm awful hungry.
Here's Sanders. Lahan, who puts up a three, no good, short. Lahan with the save to Norwell, no good. And Hunt with the rebound.
Norwell giving 2 points, maybe for being aggressive, but it doesn't work that way in basketball. He needs to take that ball back out and reset the offense. You're not in a hurry right there to get the shot off. Does a great job by Lahan to save it back into him, but then he wastes it with a poor choice on the shot.
Nice feed inside from Andy Swan to Ray Hunt.
5 points in the game now for Hunt, and that's on the lead. 5 for the Norse, as low as it's been since way back in the first half.
Here's Norwell, back out Lahan, all alone, gets the three-pointer. They forgot about Lahan, he was all by himself.
And the Norse have been able to answer, it seems like every time, by hitting a three-pointer, getting a big play. This lead is tightened up, and it's right back to an 8-point lead for NKU.
And there's a bucket by Swan, Andy Swan, inside, 54-48.
5 points in the game for Swan. Got that over Mike Veith that time. It's back to a 6-point lead for NKU.
Here's Lahan. From the corner, no good is Schaefer, and Bellarmine with the rebound.
Bellarmine can cut it to 4, maybe 3.
And it is 3 as Jared McCurry nails a three-pointer as we drop under 8 minutes to go. It's 54-51 as Bellarmine just refusing to go away in this one.
Norse have not done what it takes to put them away. It's been a man-to-man defense they faced predominantly here in the second half. What you're actually seeing is Swan's kind of playing in the paint, really off Norwell. I think you need to get Norwell the ball.
Sanders a 3, no good. Veith with the rebound and basket, a big bucket. Stick back by Mike Veith.
Makes up for missing the gimme moments ago. A big basket, as you said. Back to a 5-point lead for the Norse.
Here's Hunt. Brooks with the shot, no good, and Norwell with the rebound.
Brooks missed a wide open Swan underneath by forcing a shot up. Not a good choice. Go for the percentage in this situation.
There's Sanders all by himself, missing, but
the official says he stepped on the sideline.
Yeah. So Bellarmine with the basketball. 7 minutes and 9 seconds to go in this one. Now Kenny Shields getting an explanation from the
I'll tell you, he's not going to like it because Kenny was right there. It happened in front of the bench. He doesn't think he stepped out, but then again, maybe the coach never does.
Bellarmine a chance to claw back even more here. As the Knights working it, there's Wall back out to Mullins with a shot. Good. Ryan Mullins a three-point field goal, and it's 56-54.
The Norse have made this game a lot closer than it needs to be, and now they're going to have to battle back because Bellarmine is in striking range. Low post offense for Northern Kentucky. They're going to watch the pick to come around right there at the free throw line. Nobody breaks off in time. They'll restart it.
Here's Schaefer with it for the Norse.
Watch the crosshair picks across the lane.
And a foul called.
I believe it's going to go against Eric Wall. We'll wait and see what Ken Gorell calls, and indeed that is it. Wall picks up his second foul.
5th team foul for Bellarmine.
Not been a lot of fouls called here.
No, it sure hasn't. NKU with only 6 fouls against them. Here's Norwell inside a big basket. Adam Norwell.
We've said it before, Don, 12 points in his first game back since having a severely sprained right ankle, and what a difference he makes. I believe we're going to have a foul on Bellarmine. Let's see. No, they're going to call it on NKU. Schaefer gets the call, trying to fight through the pick. I thought for a moment that was going to go the other way, but
Greg Connolly coming back into the game for Northern.
Foul rightfully called on Schaefer, as Connolly does indeed pop back in and believe Schaefer is who he will replace. That's not the man you want to put at the line. Ryan Mullins, although just 50% on the year, has shown he can be a better free throw shooter. He's only had 2 free throw attempts so far on the young season.
Shot up, no good, and Mike Beath with a rebound.
Well, throw that out the window. Norse the 4-point lead and the ball. A tick under 6 minutes remain in the ball game.
I think we've been perfect at mixing these free throw shooters. Here's Veith, who's had a big game for NKU. No good. And Bellarmine coming back the other way.
5:38 to play, and Bellarmine again. 2-possession ball game right now.
Brooks with it. Now back to Wall.
Bellarmine has battled to make it close coming into the last 5 minutes of this ball game. Been some good outside shooting, and now we're going to have a young man step on the baseline. Eric Wall steps right on the baseline as he got too far inside, trying to scoot around, get in for the basket. Makes the big mistake, and the Norse have another opportunity with the 4-point lead.
5:22 remaining. 58-54, Northern Kentucky on top by 4, and with the basketball, Connolly with it.
A little bit more of a battle than the Norse thought it would be.
Here's Nixon to Lahan. Sanders with a shot, no good. Nixon trying for the tip in, no. Swan with the rebound. Mullins coming back for Bellarmine.
The Norse have gone absolutely cold. But the last 2 minutes, they have been unable to find the basket that could put this game a little over the edge. Or
Mullins with a 3, no good. Ball tipped up, still tipped.
Wall comes up
with it. Out to Mullins. Fresh 35 on the shot clock. Wall.
Norwell fronting Wall right now, and they're unable to give him the ball. Boy, Shaham has just been out of this game. Haven't hardly heard from him.
Wall with a 3, got it, Eric Wall. And the lead is 1.
You have to think
57.
That wasn't the prettiest shot, as it was a line drive, and the Norse feel the need for a long timeout.
Northern calling a timeout, 4:09 left. NKU on top 58-57. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders, as the NKU at one point had a 17-point lead in the first half. Scott, it is down to 1 at 58-57. 4 minutes and 9 seconds left in the contest.
You bought the battle now. If you're NKU, it's time to attempt to do something and go on another run here to try to take the game back over. Clearly, momentum has shifted to Bellarmine. The outside shooting has brought them back to within reach of this game now.
Norwell working inside and scores as he is fouled. Adam Norwell.
Another foul called against Swan. I've got that for 3 against Swan.
Norwell, a good job inside. I'll tell you what, Scott, at this point, he's got to be our player of the game. Adam Norwell, first
really
game
does.
back, and
10
he
points alone
tough
in the second half, 14 for the game. Chance to make it 15, and he does.
Big 3-point play there by Norwell as the Norse up 4, 61-57.
And if anybody else even does part of what their season average is for this game, it probably isn't even a contest. Norwell has carried the Norse here in the second half.
Norwell now playing some defense.
And now Norwell causing a turnover.
Adam Norwell doing it at both ends of the court. A turnover.
If you look at NKU, not one player has more than 1 basket in the second half for the Norse other than Adam Norwell.
Incredible. And NKU still on top by 4. Here's Nixon. Nixon tried to dish it off to Norwell, but Wall comes up with it for the Knights. Now Mullins over to Brooks. And Wall with the shot, no good. And Connolly leading the rebound charge next, puts up a shot, and it goes in.
How did he get that?
Craig Connolly.
You know, Connolly planned it that way. I tell you. He was under the basket, somehow leaned back at just the right time to drill that ball over the front of the rim and in the hoop.
63-57, NKU by 6.
First basket of the second half for Connolly, and now a
Swan
foul.
scores and is fouled, and that's just what Bellarmine needed and what NKU didn't need, as the Knights can pull back to within 3 if Swan makes the free throw.
Swan goes to the line, and he is truly an adventure from the free throw line. The big man wills the basket in. That's 7 points for him. Fans yelling air ball. He's capable of it.
That one, another air ball.
I haven't called that one that well in a while.
That's the first one we've called, I think, today. 63-59, NKU by 4, and with the basketball, Bellarmine applying some full court pressure here.
That's an ugly, ugly thing to have happen at the foul line, let me tell you.
And Norwell takes the inbound, and Norwell is fouled.
I believe the foul is going to go against, what's his name, Shaham, and that's somebody we haven't called a lot today because, frankly, he has been extremely ineffective. And how many minutes has he had in this game to have not done a whole lot? Shaham averaging 24 points a game, stuck on 6 points. He scored early in the second half and not since then. And just doesn't look real aggressive.
Norwell 1-1, and these are big free throws. They're all big at this point.
A truckload of rebounds for Norwell as he hits that free throw to go with.
So Adam Norwell, welcome back, Adam
16
Norwell.
Points in the ball game. Now, he misses that one.
Misses that one. So 1 of 2, 64-59. Norse lead at 5. Bellarmine.
A little, and I mean a very little breathing room now for Northern Kentucky.
Here's Gaines. Pass this off to Shaham. Back to Gaines. Comes back outside. Over to Mullins. 10 seconds on the shot clock, and we've got a 20-second timeout for Bellarmine. So 10 seconds on the shot clock, 2:14 on the game clock, and NKU with a 5-point lead at 64-59. So Charlie Just talking to his ball club. Kenny Shields doing the other. At the other end for Northern Kentucky University. Again, NKU's next game Monday night against Kentucky Wesleyan. And if you can't be here in person, we will have both games for you live here on Intermedia 6. The women's game getting underway at 5:30 and the men at 7:45. Again, this is the earliest GLVC play has ever taken place, but 22 conference games this year. To get them all in, you got to start pretty early.
Anybody that can come through the GLVC is going to have been through a war this year. Is a nice entry pass into Swan for the basket. He now has 9 points, and it's right back to a 3-point game.
2 minutes to go. 64-61. Norse on top. We've had 2 good ones here today. Here's Connolly back out to Sanders. Fires up a 3. No good. Ball tapped out to Brooks, and Bellarmine
to tie it up.
Here's Gaines. Swan out to Brooks. No good. Ball tapped away, and Connolly is fouled by Swan.
And a very dangerous foul. Actually, that now is Swan's 3rd foul, but Connolly could have been hurt that time going into the stands. Retrieving the basketball, got shoved by Swan. Kenny Shields a little upset with the flagrancy of the foul, I believe, but I'm not sure Swan was in complete control of himself. And Connolly goes to the line where he needs to hit free throws. Connolly's been up and down at the line. 76% this year has yet to have been to the line tonight.
Point in the game where you got to put them in the hole, no doubt about it. 1:31 left. And Craig Connolly hits the first one.
That's the big one right there. That changes the possessions now to 2 possessions with a minute and a half to play, but they'd like to sink this one as well. Conley misses.
Misses, so it's 65-61 with 127 and counting. Mullins over to Gaines. Gaines. Sanders on him. To Swan. Back to Gaines. Over to Brooks. Swan. 8 seconds. Gaines firing up an off-balance three. No good. Lahan fighting for the rebound. Bellarmine coming up with it as Brooks gets the rebound. Here's Mullins with the three. No good. Norwell with the rebound.
He claims it in Northern Kentucky with under a minute to play. Now in a little bit of a command as Conley gets fouled quickly. That needed to happen, but with a 4-point lead, it's still 2 possessions. It's Northern Kentucky's game to lose now.
46 seconds left as Craig Conley will go to the line for the 1-and-1. So Conley needing to nail these two.
Shaham comes back into the game and replaces Wall. I didn't know he was gone.
Conley. Misses the free throw.
New life for Bellarmine.
Gaines. Over to Mullins. Mullins. Brooks with the three. No good. But Gaines with the rebound, scoring. And it's 65-63 with 30 seconds left on the clock. So NKU unable to get any kind of breathing room. 30 seconds left, and we'll be back with the conclusion of this game right after this. We're back at Regents Hall, 30 seconds left. Don Weber and Scott Borders, 65-63. Bellarmine has cut the NKU lead to 2. 30 seconds left. Conley with the inbound to Nixon. Nixon with it, and Charles Nixon is fouled with 28 seconds left.
Now that's the man, it's a good man to foul if you're Bellarmine. Nixon was trying to get it away to Lahan. With a wide open lane to the basket, and it's not too bad a free throw shooter in his own right. Nixon comes to the line, and I know you're wondering, 57% on the year. This is not the man the Norse won at the line, and really he needs both of these. One just ensures a tie in one possession. Two makes it a 2-possession game.
2 shots by Nixon. First one up, good. Charles Nixon with the first one.
9 points, right at his season average is Nixon. One more would be huge.
Second shot up, good. So Chuck Nixon, 2 big free throws right there. Bellarmine quickly coming back the other way. Gaines.
Nothing easy here.
A three, got it. Herb Gaines.
No timeouts.
67-66, 19 seconds on the clock.
Bellarmine has no timeouts left, and fouled right there is Sanders. 18 seconds left, and the Norse cannot make this a 2-possession game, and you want with that three. 2 free throws only ensures a 3-point lead. So Bellarmine will have a chance to tie this game with under 20 seconds left coming back down the court.
So Craig Sanders will go to the line for 2 free throws. The Norse up 1 point in this one, and I'll tell you what, Scott, people have got their money's worth here today with both the women's and men's game.
They've been nail-biters. Bellarmine women having a commanding lead early in their game and losing.
Sanders misses.
With a commanding lead, and now it's shaky at best, a 1-point lead. Sanders has a chance maybe to make it a 2-point lead.
Second shot, good. So Sanders does hit one. Northern wants a timeout. 18 seconds left. It is NKU 68 and Bellarmine Knights 66. And we will be back right after this.
Today, we could be part of someone's wedding. Tomorrow, we could help Lisa Powell win a new account. This evening, we might bring sweethearts together. Because every day, every one of us is personally involved in connecting every one of you to your reason for flying. And we all have the same reason for doing it well. You. Delta Airlines, on top of the world.
Here we go, 18 seconds left. NKU 68, Bellarmine 66. Bellarmine to inbound. As we've got Brooks with it for the Knights. Brooks. Over to Gaines. Gaines inside the Swan.
No basket,
basket.
7 seconds. Norwell with the foul, and they put Swan on the line. Who made the basket?
So a break for Northern there. Swan, which has been an awful free throw shooter this afternoon. I guess you'd call that a good foul, huh, Scott?
I tell you what, Swan had a wide open basket. I don't know if Norwell meant to do it, but it might be the best situation Northern could have asked for. He has to hit 2 just to tie it.
And this is a 1-and-1.
Air ball!
Another air ball by Swan.
And I tell you, he listened to the crowd a bit too much, but what a problem that presents for a team. As looks like Kenny Shields will take a 20 here. What a problem that presents for a team to have a player who absolutely falls apart at the foul line. And you can't do that on this level if you're Swan. You're not going to see a lot of time in crucial situations if you're a big man who can't get the ball to the basket.
7 seconds left and a big break for NKU. You know, again, Swan made the basket, but Norwell fouled him before. There you go, Norwell doing the job for the Norse, Scott.
I'm sure he will take the credit for the ingenuity of that play. But don't think for a second this Norse coaching staff did not think about the possibility of fouling Swan if it got to be that type of a situation, because the young man has just shown he cannot hit the free throw. Arguably the easiest shot in basketball. I'm sure he would take the dunk or the layup over it.
Conley to inbound. NKU's got to be able to inbound this, and they do to Nixon, and Nixon is fouled with 6 seconds left.
Now Nixon with the opportunity once again with 2 free throws to make it a 2-possession game. He hit 2 moments ago to give him 10 points on the evening. 6 seconds is plenty of time for Bellarmine to get a shot off.
Charles Nixon, 2 big free throws, can just about give NKU the game if he can knock these 2 down. If he doesn't, Bellarmine has a chance. First shot up, good. 3-point lead, 6 seconds left.
Will markedly improve his free throw shooting percentage, coming into the game at 57%. Cold from the line, but hits 3 of 3 so far with 1 to go. That ensures at least a tie for Northern Kentucky for the win.
Good shot, good, and things look pretty good at this point. NKU doesn't foul here. 4 seconds, 3, here's Gaines putting up a 3, and he gets it at the buzzer. So NKU wins 70-69, and what a ball game as you see Ken Shields and Charlie Just shaking hands as NKU escapes this game, winning by 1, 70-69. We'll be back with some closing comments after these messages. Welcome back to Regents Hall. Don Weber along with Scott Borders. NKU a 70-69 winner over Bellarmine. And Scott, you've got the final scoring statistics from this game.
We'll run down the scoring totals in the 1-point victory for the Norse. First for Bellarmine College. They were led in scoring by what ended up being Herb Gaines, 17 points, including the final 3-pointer of the game, which fell 1 point short. 10 points for Ryan Mullins in the ball game. Eric Wall added 12 points. 6 points for Amit Shaham, well under his 24-point average for the season. Ray Hunt added 5 points. 9 points for Andy Swan. Those did not come from the foul line. And 6 points from Jared McCurry. Playing but not scoring were Eagleman for the Bellarmine Knights. For the Norse of Northern Kentucky, they were led in scoring in today's ball game by Adam Norwell, who is welcomed back to this team with 16 points, 12 of which came in the second half. Mike Beef added 8 points for Northern Kentucky, 12 points for Chuck Nixon, including 4 critical free throws down the stretch. Craig Conley added 13 points, 3 points for 12 points in the ball game for Brian Lahan on 4 3-pointers, 6 points in the ball game for Sanders. Beckett, Sider, Perdrix, and Schaefer all played in the game, all of those players failing to score.
So NKU improves to 3-1 overall, and they are 1-0 in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Bellarmine 1-2 overall, 0-1 in the GLVC. I'd like to remind you our next televised game will be on Monday night when NKU takes on Kentucky Wesleyan in a women's-men's doubleheader. The women's game getting underway at 5:30, the men at 7:45, and we will be here to bring you all the action live right here on Intermediate Channel 6. Once again, the final score of the men's game, it was NKU holding on to defeat Bellarmine 70-69.